Got a couple more people coming in. All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for our February LEPC meeting for the City of Norfolk Emergency Management. First off, I want to say thank you so much for everybody who is able to pivot from our in-person meeting. We had it all the way up until yesterday, then some unforeseen circumstance occurred, and unfortunately, we were not able to have it in person like we wanted to do. But thank you so much for being able to pivot to an online platform for us to be able to still stay connected, so we didn't have to cancel this meeting today, because it's very important for us to get together, especially since we have our utilities team that's going to provide an excellent presentation today on their how they respond to the winter weather and the inner workings of the utilities department. So we're really excited for that as well. But I want to say thank you so much for those who don't know me. My name is Daniel Hudson. I work for the City of Norfolk in the Office of Emergency Management. I'll let Scott Mahone go ahead and introduce himself.
So my name is Scott Mahone. I'm with the Office of Emergency Management as well.
There
After we
you
go
are.
through introductions, I'm going to ask everybody to turn off their cameras. Daniel, we're cutting out a little bit, and I think it's the city bandwidth with all our cameras on it. We'll have to close it out because I really want to hear what Mary has to say with her presentation. Are we going through introductions, Daniel, or
Nope, one
individual?
second. Most certainly. Thank you so much, Scott, for that. So we will turn off cameras once we get started here. Ricky Matthews, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, good afternoon from down the hall. The two of the rest of them. Ricky Matthews with the Office of Emergency Management here with the City of Norfolk.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So I'm going to turn off my camera now so I can hear everybody else. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go down the list, and I'm going to call out a name. And if you could just please tell us who you are and what your organization is with, so we can just take a correct accountability of all who's here and say thank you for joining us. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Carrie Parrish.
Hi, good afternoon. I am Carrie with the Capital Group here in Norfolk near the airport off of Robin Hood.
One of my favorite groups, the Capital Group. Yeah, it's been out there many times.
Yes, we appreciate you.
Anytime you need something, let us know. We'll go ahead with Michael Barner. Michael with VDOT. All right, we'll move down to Dale Gauding.
Hi, Dale Gauding, Manager of Media Relations for Centera Health.
Thank you, Dale. James Gower.
Jim Gower with VDOT. I'm the District Incident Management Coordinator here in Hampton Roads.
Thank you. I see Michael as well. Michael?
Okay, let me know.
Yep, I can hear you now. Go ahead, Michael.
Hi, Mike Barner. I'm from VDOT.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Michael Guest.
Michael Guest. I'm from Department of Utilities, the safety specialist over here.
Thank you very much. Tracy Hardy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Tracy Hardy, Department of Housing and Community Development.
Thank you, Tracy. Jared.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Jared Hernig with ODU Emergency Management.
Thank you, sir. Jody Gregory.
Good afternoon, Jody Gregory, Emergency Management for Norfolk General Hospital, Centera.
Thank you, Jody. Appreciate that. John Roberts.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. My name is John Roberts. Right now, I'm not associated with any organization. I've been with LEPC for quite a number of years, and my background has been mostly communication and logistics. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Juan Rivera.
Juana Rivera with Glenn Smith, Harbor's Edge Life Safety Coordinator and Director of Life Safety and Security.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Mary, we'll leave you if you don't mind. Scott's going to introduce you, so we'll leave you for just a few more moments. Jonathan Lichtenstein.
Jonathan Lichtenstein here. I'm a risk analyst with the Risk Management Division under the Department of Finance.
Thank you. Linda Johnson.
Independent Center Norfolk. We cover all of the South Side.
Yes, thank you, Linda. Appreciate you being here. Lisa Mike.
Lisa Mike, representing for the American Red Cross in the Coastal Territory.
Thank you so much. Mark Salmon. Mark, are you available to unmute?
Mark Salmon, Old Dominion University.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Walter.
Good afternoon. This is Walt Soto. I'm the health system manager for Children's Hospital of the King's Daughters.
Thank you. Danielle Steele.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Danielle Steele with the Norfolk Department of Human Services.
Thank you so much. And Sean Bilby.
Hi, Sean Bilby with Norfolk Public Library.
Excellent. Thank you, Sean. Eve, I know you just jumped in, but we were just finishing up introductions. Would you like to come off mute and say who you are and what organization you're with? Thank you for joining us, by the way.
Good afternoon, everyone. Eve Zentrich. I'm with the Norfolk Health District, and I am their emergency planner.
Thank you, Eve. Appreciate that. Thank you all so much for joining us. As you can see, we have a wide range of disciplines here within this meeting. We are very thankful that everybody is able to join us. So without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to Scott Mahone, who's going to introduce our guest speaker. So Scott, go right ahead.
Thank you, Daniel. I'm very happy to introduce Mary Keel. I've known Mary for probably 15, almost 20 years now. Back in the day when she was in the comms office. So very impressed with Mary. She's now the assistant director with the Department of Utilities, and that includes water and sewer services. She's 7 years with the department. She served as the management service administrator and operations manager before being named assistant director. Congratulations, Mary. She's been a longtime member of Team Norfolk, and as I said before, I knew her in the communications department back over at City Hall, and I used to ask her for a FOIA request. And I know the day probably 12 years ago when she got rid of that, she was very happy to get rid of the FOIA request because that's a lot of stuff going on. So, Mary, I'm happy to have you speak to the group. The topic you're going to discuss is the water main breaks, what your department does. I know it's very important. We see it. If I might date myself back in probably 2013, we had a hurricane, and we were all sitting over in our building at the EOC, and there was a busted water main break. And that was the most excitement we had during that hurricane season because the whole EOC just stood and watched it, and the people from the utilities department went out and saved the day. And that was our big excitement. So ever since then, we've always been fascinated on how these breaks occur, how your teams go out there in all kinds of weather and solve that. So very happy if you could talk about that, Mary.
Sure. Thank you for allowing me the chance to talk about it. And I do have Wayne Moore with me. He's just off camera. He is our current operations manager, and Wayne has more than 25 years of utility experience. He's been with HRSD and with the city of Chesterfield before joining our team a few years ago. So he'll also be assisting me with that. And if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen.
And I apologize, Wayne. I just saw Mary's picture. I have your bio. 22 years with the plant operation in Chesterfield and HRSD. Welcome with your wealth of knowledge. Happy to have you here.
I don't think anyone's as happy as I am to have Wayne here because he has been a godsend and a great resource.
Great.
Okay. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what I'm going to talk about again is our water distribution system and some of the recent main breaks. I don't know if you all have seen on Pilot Online just today, they have a story which does not mention Norfolk, but it mentions other cities who are dealing with weather-related main breaks and additional work because of the weather. But I wanted to kind of start miles of pipe of all sorts of sizes, almost 5,000 fire hydrants, and over 20,000 valves in our system. Additionally, we do have about 70,000 water meters that go to each customer's account. So it is a lot of assets to manage on a day-to-day basis. And then I wanted to just let you know what our team consists of, which is 7 crews. And in ideal situations, 2 of those crews are designated to install new taps. 1 crew manages the valve maintenance. Another crew manages hydrant maintenance, and then 3 crews are repair crews. That is in normal circumstances when everything is status quo. And when we have staffing, we obviously are not in status quo right now, and any of those crews can do water main repairs, and that's how we have them working now. We always have to prioritize. Those crews don't do the meter maintenance as much. We have 17 mechanics that do most of that work, but they are definitely very busy at this time too, because again, it's not just our mains that are impacted by the weather, but it's customers' lines freezing, pipes bursting, and all sorts of other issues. So what causes main breaks? There's a number of factors that really can cause main breaks, and the most common for us, I would say, is age. The average age of our pipes in our system is 43 years. However, our oldest pipe is 162 years. Estimated useful life of a water main is 55 to 85 years. So we are being very good stewards of the city's money and getting the most out of these pipes, especially the ones that are 162 years old. We do have a program that for improvements to replace pipes as they age, and we'll never be really in front of that, but we are working as much as funding allows to catch up on that. But that is one of the very common causes of main breaks. Again, the weather is another. As the weather changes, the pipes, the water freeze, contract, and that those changes and shifts can very easily cause the pipes to break. Again, similar to what happens at your house. Probably the most frustrating factor in pipes is the human error, and whether it's that contractors hit a line, whether it's marked, unmarked, mismarked, but there's any number of factors with human error that can cause pipes to break, and even just a shovel can cause a pipe to break. Scott, you have a question? It's not. A couple other causes of main breaks is sometimes the ground settles and it shifts the pipe and creates pressure shifts. They are somewhat sensitive. Corrosive soil is another big factor that it just eats away at the pipe. And there are some times where we find areas where that happens more frequently, and we try to correct that as best we can, so that we don't have continued issues in the same area. And pressure shifts in the water, whether it's coming from the plant, whether we adjust a hydrant too fast, but any pressure shift in the water system also can stress the pipe and cause it to break. So those are really the main causes. Like I said, there is a story in the paper today about the increase in weather-related issues. And Norfolk is not profiled in the story, but I can tell you that currently we're working about 30 breaks. And that's been pretty consistent for the past 3 weeks, I would say. As fast as we fix them, we're running into another issue. It's not that our crews aren't working. They're working 16 plus hours a day to get these fixed. But again, the weather has been back and forth. We've had cold for longer periods than normal, I think. Ricky, you can correct me on that. But the weather has really played a factor. This season has been, in my 7 years with the department, the roughest. We always anticipate winter is going to be our busy season or our rough season. And this has been the hardest we've been hit in my years with the department. Now to the fun stuff. Like Scott said, they're interesting to look at. They're fun maybe to look at, not when you have to work it. This first one that you're seeing is in Ocean View, and it was very, very, very well publicized. We actually had 2 very big breaks the same day, one in Ocean View and one right here downtown. Not all of them shoot up like that. Some of them do. Some of them are slow leaks. But those are, again, very, very good photo opportunities. And they would grab anyone's attention. There can be some that you don't even notice, or you or I might not notice, because it's slower. They're not all that dramatic. And then that second one is at Norview and Tidewater. It's actually in the water, which makes it a little bit harder to repair. And in fact, Wayne, our contractor, is going to be working that one. That one's still leaking, right?
Yes, that's slated for contractors to repair. We've actually isolated that line.
Okay, so it's not blowing anymore. Then we've got up there, you can see that actually, that one's a little bit of a video. Then we've got 2 other ones, and these were not weather related. The first one is at Granby Street at Ward's Corner, right near the railroad tracks. And then the second one is at Jamestown Crescent. And that one, we don't know for sure, but there was another utility company working in the area. And just again, the vibration and the changes and shifts, I think we speculate caused that one. Then we've got, this was a big one and made the news also. Most of them don't make the news. Some of them do. This one took a car, as you can see. This was at Tidewater Drive just a few months ago.
Yeah.
And again, that was a very large repair that took, this was probably the one that was the most impactful since I've been here. And again, it's a busy road. As you can see, it completely washed out Tidewater Drive, that section of Tidewater Drive, and that's right near Southern Shopping Center. And then the second photo is where they repaired the pipe. So that's really what I have, and I can't believe I did not end this slideshow with our phone number that we have 24/7 coverage, 823-1000. So if you ever have any water or sewer, because we do cover sewer as well, issues or emergencies, if you call that number, that is always the best way to reach us. And again, that number is 823-1000. And Wayne and I are happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Mary. I'll let Ricky go ahead first. He's got a question. If you want to ask it, Ricky.
Yeah, my scientific slash, I took a couple engineering classes, or at least felt like I did with all the math classes, is like running rampant now. So which one is a bigger factor? And I feel like the answer is probably going to be both. But for my understanding, is there a certain temperature besides freezing when you guys start to see a lot more issues? Or is what we've seen recently where we had several days of below freezing temperatures a bigger factor?
I mean, it's not so much the freezing temperatures, it's once it warms up when it gets really bad, right, Wayne?
Yeah, it's the rapid temperature changes. So when you go from steady 60 degrees and then then you drop down to below freezing for multiple days, the ground starts to freeze, that temperature changes on top of brittle pipe. So any type of movement is going to crack the pipe. And it's more with
you're not going to like me the next couple of days.
And that more happens with like our ductile iron, cast iron versus we don't see a lot of our newer PVC pipe failing. It's mostly the older concrete and ductile iron and cast iron pipes.
Okay. Is there
so it's really the weather combined with our old pipes essentially. So we're getting hit with the perfect storm. If like Wayne said, our newer pipes aren't as much the issue. It's both factors that impact us.
That makes sense. How far underground are most of these pipes?
Normally your water mains is anywhere from 2.5 to 4, 2.5 to 5 feet. They're not normally that far down in the ground as it would be versus sewer, because sewer it's gravity, so you need the fall. But waters are between 2.5 to 5 feet.
All right. And then last question for me, is there a way you guys can recognize that there's a break underground before it starts showing signs on the surface? Is it water flow or something like that you can notice a difference in?
We have at our master meter sites and everything, we have pressure meters throughout. So that would show us, but to be honest with you, when they happen, we get notified so quickly that we can see it. If it's a big enough main, we'll be able to see it in the pressure, but we're already notified. It's such a quick reaction. But a small leak, it would be hard to capture under the pressure with the pressure meters. But if you have, like, say the Tidewater Drive was a 16-inch main. When that blew, it actually blew, the pipe actually exploded. So that actually showed a big pressure drop. So we was able to see that, but I mean, we was already notified also.
Anything
Dale,
else, Ricky?
No, I think Dale had a question.
Yeah, Dale?
Hi. I'm curious if I think I know the answer, but some clarification would help. Is there a capital appropriation going on to try to proactively replace some of these older pipes before you run into these issues? Or and I don't want to sound flip, but I mean, you wait for them to break and then use that as an opportunity to replace, some section of older pipe? Or how's that work?
Yes, we do have a capital program to replace the pipe. Again, we're fighting for capital funds with every other department and the city's vision. So we obviously, if we had our way, we'd get all the money we ask for. But we don't, and we have a prioritization system based on several factors, including the age, the condition, the risk of failure, the consequence of failure, to prioritize where we make our replacements.
Thank you.
So I'll go ahead and ask a question. You said the oldest pipe is 162 years old. What is that made out of? And you're now into what type of material are you replacing the pipes with?
Right now, we replace the pipe with either PVC, which is C900, which is high pressure PVC, or some projects we use ductile iron, but it's got nowadays they do a special coating. But the majority of our replacements are PVC C900. And the oldest main that pops up there, it's actually down here in downtown Norfolk, and believe it or not, it's actually made out of wood.
Oh, very good. So I was hoping you guys could walk me through the scenario of a broken pipe, because I see it squirting, I see the water coming out, and then when you dig the hole, you got the cracks or you got an openness in there. So how far do you have to shut off the water? Where are the lines at that you shut it off and you just cut that piece out, or how does that work?
So that depends on how close the valves are, or the working valves that we can isolate. We try to minimize the area as much as we can. There are some of the smaller ones that will even work under pressure if we have to. So again, we do consider all of those factors and really try to minimize the impact. And there's just sometimes that our valves are problematic and we have to go a little bit farther.
So
it really is case dependent.
Okay, so on a normal break, would you just cut that section out and put the PVC in there?
It depends on It depends on the break. So say the one that you've seen on the slide from Jamestown Crescent where the whole side of the pipe was blown out. Yes, we cut out like a 10-foot section and then we replaced it with PVC and we used special couplings on each end. Let's say if it just had like a little, like a hairline crack or whatever, we would put a repair clamp on it. You might have heard it say a band, and it's a stainless steel clamp that wraps around the pipe and it has rubber on it, and then you tighten it down. And those normally we can do under pressure, depending on the size of the pipe.
Let me skip to one more question I have. Sorry to take everybody's time up. You talked about fire hydrants and having a crew out there to check the fire hydrants. Is it your department that actually bleeds out the fire hydrants and gets the pressure back in, or is that the fire department?
Yes, so we use fire hydrants, like say we have a main break, we'll use the fire hydrant to bleed the lines off. And then when we bring water back up, we always open up a fire hydrant and if there is no fire hydrant in the area, then we'll actually put a tap into the main line so that we can bleed the air off. Because if you don't, it'll actually blow. If you don't release that air when you're bringing the water back up, filling the system back up, it'll actually blow the pipe out. And then we also do routine flushing throughout the city and at our fire hydrants.
Gotcha. Ricky?
What's a way that if I'm a resident or a business owner here in the city that I'm notified if there's either water main, work going on in my area or an issue? Is there a notification system set up?
Sometimes, and it's depending on, the situation and how, if it's not emergency repair, yes, we are much better about notification. Emergency repair, we try to go door to door. We work with the comms department to put something on Nextdoor or any other channels that they have specific to that neighborhood. But our planned work, our notification is much more efficient than our emergency repairs.
Okay. And then you mentioned earlier that, and I know from some of the stuff we've seen, sometimes you get a contractor to do it. Sometimes it's your own crews. What's the decision point there as to who is going to make the repairs, whether it be, city crews or a contractor crew?
So all concrete water mains that we have in the city of Norfolk, we do not make the repairs on those. Those automatically go out to contractors. And then I don't try to use contractors as much as I probably could because I like to do it in-house, save on money. But I look at the situation and look at how much work that we already have. And like if it's like the other week, we had a pretty good one on Hampton Boulevard that required a bunch of traffic control and everything else. We had to take out one of the middle lanes to do the repair. I ended up turning that over to contractors just because of the severity of the area. And I needed to get it done a lot quicker. And then we had a lot of other work going on. So it's just looking at it and figuring out how hard the job is. How much time it's going to require? How deep is it? How big is the pipe? That kind of stuff.
And the reality is the contractors have more and better equipment than we do. They have more resources than we do. So that's, again, like Wayne said, and he's really good about trying to do as much in-house as we can because you pay a premium. But we do look at those factors too.
Hey, Mary, this is Daniel. I got a question here. I had a question come up in the room here. You want to go ahead and ask real quick? Say your name because you.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Miles Artis. I'm an on-site coordinator at a Region 3 for EPA. And my question was, do you guys have like a reverse call system for alerts? I dealt with another water authority out in Wayne, West Virginia, that basically was able to take their customer numbers and alert that way.
We do not currently have that.
Gotcha. So what we do have within the emergency management team is we have an ability to be able to One, send an alert to our Norfolk subscribers through Norfolk Alert. So we asked our community members to subscribe to our Norfolk Alert system, which allows us to be able to send an email, a telephone, or a text message to them. But we also have the ability to do a reverse 911 as well. We receive the information from Verizon and AT&T. We upload what's in the telephone book, right, for the hard lines. We upload that into our Norfolk Alert system, and then we can geo-target certain locations. If they're having a water main break in a certain neighborhood, we can put a circle around that neighborhood and send a targeted alert. Or also, we've done in the past, if it's based upon life safety, something like a gas leak or something where people need to be notified immediately, we can do the targeted wireless emergency alert, which hits all of the cell phones, like an Amber Alert, right? So Mary, my question is, I know that also utilities is doing so much other work besides water main breaks. I didn't know if you want to touch on the few projects that you had, but before you do, considering we just went through a lot of winter weather, and there's a lot of confusion as to how homeowners can protect themselves from having a frozen pipe or a breaking pipe in their home. You know, you hear it often, you got to drip your pipes, but I think there's a lot of confusion. Do I need to do it if I have a crawl space? Do I need to do it if I'm on a slab? Which faucets do I need to drip? How fast is the drip? How long do I have to? And what is the magic number? I've heard 22 degrees, even though 32 is freezing. It really depends on how insulated your pipes are, but I don't know if you're able to kind of discuss that, some helpful tips of how we as homeowners can safeguard ourselves from broken pipes.
So I will tell you, I err on the side of caution. And anytime it's under 32, I am dripping my pipes. I have had a lot of thought about that this time because I know it's going to show up in my water bill. But it is definitely important. I would much rather pay the price there than pay to have to replace everything. And I can tell you that even with dripping my pipes, my one line still froze. And it was one of those where my lines are a little bit separated and I could only drip one. And it froze. It did not burst or anything. I was very fortunate. But I definitely do try to wrap any pipe I can and drip at 32 all the time. I open cabinets and turn the heat up in the house just to try to do everything I can to keep it warm. Again, I am terrified of the expense of having to deal with pipes that burst. So I am probably more conservative than most on that one. Wayne, you want to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, another thing too is if you have a crawl space, I had a lot of conversations over the last month with multiple residents. Make sure your vents are closed, and if you don't have louvers on your vents, then go out and buy some block off plates to put on them. They actually sell them to put over them, and that's a big issue, especially with this last cold spell we had high winds, and that wind blowing and going right underneath your house. I mean, it was freezing all kinds of pipes. But that's my biggest thing is making sure those vents are sealed off in the wintertime.
Thank you so much, you two. And just to reiterate, I believe the process is the faucet that is facing adjacent to the outside, like our kitchen faucet where it has a kitchen window where the pipe comes directly up on the side of the house. You don't necessarily need to drip your interior. Bathroom faucet that's upstairs, correct?
That's correct.
And also, one thing that I've done is relatively inexpensive is you purchase those plastic covers that go over your water spigots for outside. You disconnect the hose and you put those on there for the entire winter season since I'm not out there watering the lawn. But, I know it's very much of a hassle when you do have a frozen pipe and you break it. But I do know that dripping them for several hours throughout the night definitely can cause a rise in utility bills. But you're exactly right, Mary. I'd rather pay that than the cost of a repair. Is there anyone else online who can also provide another suggestion that they have that they do at their home that will kind of help out this process? Maybe utilities can take that back and help out some other homeowners. I'll pause for a second. All right, well, if anyone does have any helpful tips, please let us know so we can pass those along to our utilities team. Mary, I do know that there's some other work that y'all are doing. If you wanted to talk about some of those things, this would be a great platform too. If not, we understand, but I know that you've got some exciting projects coming up with the utilities department.
We do, and I will touch on them briefly, and I am happy to come back and talk about them in greater detail anytime anyone wants, or to any other group meeting if anyone has one. Two of our big projects that are going on right now is we are transitioning to automated meters. Again, if you're a Norfolk resident, and actually through most of Hampton Roads right now, there have been issues with the meter reader contracts having staffing issues and other delays. So the billing has been for much longer periods than normal, which again results in fewer but higher bills. So that the automated meters will eliminate the need for manual meter reading contract, and we will be able to normalize billing cycles as soon as that's fully implemented. That is, we're underway with that right now, setting up the network, and should be installing our first meters in a pilot area here in March, and the entire transition will take about 3 to 4 years to get all meters switched over to automated meters. So that is one we're very excited about. And another initiative that we are deep in the throes of is the lead service line replacement program. And this was an EPA mandated program to where there were a number of requirements, one of which is we had to get an inventory of all of the service lines, the water service lines in the city, not just on the private side, but also on the resident side. And that was something very new to us because we have never dealt with or made it our business to worry about what material the customer service line was. And so we are still working on our inventory. We're doing a number of exercises to determine pipe material. We're potholing to test them ourselves. We are using some predictive modeling. We are getting insight when we are doing work in the field. And what happens then is any line that is lead and some galvanized is required to be replaced. And the city is doing that at no cost to the homeowner. We're replacing their side of the line. And that's a major benefit to any of our customers. It's a brand new service line for free, which is hard to pass up. There are some people who, again, are a little bit leery of the government, and I get that, so they are not as responsive. But it's a great program for anyone who's interested. Anyone who has a lead line has been notified of that already through a letter, and we also have teams out in the field knocking on those doors to explain that to them and get their permission to replace their lines. Our contractor who's replacing those lines has started with the city side. We anticipate starting on the residence lines in the next couple months. And this program is a 10-year program. We technically don't have to start replacements until 2027, but we are starting now. We hope to not take 10 years to get our inventory and the replacements completed. And again, the lead lines that are out there, that does not mean that your water is unsafe. Your water is safe, but there could be some traces that come in because of the sediment. And so we're just trying to remediate that and make it even safer.
You could get a news story done about that, Mary. You know, if you call like Catherine Hafner at WHRO radio, or I don't know who's covering the environment anymore with the Pilot Daily Press, but that's the fact that you're starting that replacement process for lead that's a great story. If I were
It
still in the
is.
news game, I'd be covering it.
We've had a couple stories so far, and I anticipate that we'll really make a push to get it out there once we start the public side replacements or the private side replacements. I think that's when it's really going to resonate with our residents that, hey, they're really doing this.
Mm-hmm. It's a good story.
Yes, Mary, it is.
Go ahead, Scott, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wayne, I'll jump in and ask you a question. You mentioned that the water lines are anywhere from 3 to 5 feet deep. Is that the same with homeowners from their house to the street? Is it that deep? And are these older pipes that are the responsibility of the homeowner if they break, right?
Yes, sir. So the right of way normally is if the neighborhood has a sidewalk, it's right behind the sidewalk. So anything that happens behind the sidewalk up to the house would be the homeowner's responsibility. And then their lines are typically like a foot and a half deep, just below the frost, just to get it below the frost line. I mean, we do have some lines. Like I was having some issues over the last 2 weeks down here downtown where there's some lines that are less than a foot below the ground at some of these businesses and stuff. But normally about a foot and a half deep is what they are. And a good way to tell is when you look into your meter box, you can see the house line tied into the backside of the meter.
That's important when I'm doing gardening work and digging up an old tree. I don't want to break anything.
Yep.
Is that the same? Is that the same types of pipes that they use for the sewer lines? I know they used to be clay pots.
No, so unfortunately, Norfolk has a lot of old sewer, so a lot of that is vitrified clay. We do have some other sewer. We do have a lot of PVC now starting to be installed, but a lot of Norfolk is clay pipe.
Gotcha.
And just to touch on the customer and city side of the water line, everything from the meter to the house or the property is the customer's responsibility. Everything from the meter the other way is the city's responsibility. There are some where, again, if it goes under the sidewalk, we're a little more lenient with the customer because them having to tear up a sidewalk isn't really fair to them. So we kind of evaluate those, but if you were to ask the city attorney or anyone else, that is the delineating factor, the meter on beyond.
Thank you for the clarification. Does anyone have any other questions they want to ask or are curious about?
Yes,
Hi,
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'll follow you.
Sorry, I have a very quick question regarding the materials for the pipes. That lead seems to be something that people are fairly concerned with, but what are the concerns regarding the galvanized pipes? Is that something you can give us some more background on?
So the concern with the galvanized is if it was ever downstream of lead. So if it was attached to lead is where that concern comes from.
And is that because the galvanization absorbs the material and therefore it can be transferred back through the line?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, it was just not something I'd ever heard mentioned before until today, so thank you.
Just as an additional point on that as well, some galvanized coatings contain or include zinc, which often had lead to help it adhere, the zinc coating. So sometimes there's an issue with galvanized because of the zinc coating.
Interesting. Okay, thank you.
As an unofficial, just what I know about lead in general and the concerns. My question was a little bit different though. More around those emergency repairs. So when we think about businesses operating in the city, if there happens to be some kind of break in the water main, one of our challenges in the past has been trying to figure out when is the water safe to drink again for our employees in our location, and determining how long do we need to wait, when can we kind of have people back in the office. What would you advise is kind of the best source of getting that information when it's an emergency type of repair?
You want to answer that?
Yeah.
I'm not, you shouldn't have to wait. Once the repair is made and the water is turned back on, we'll have flushed it. So there shouldn't be any concern.
Okay.
And then
So like even if it's showing up as brown or whatever, you know, that's more of an aesthetic issue with just the flushing of the lines, but the safety of any kind of contaminants, we shouldn't have to worry about unless we've been told otherwise.
So if you experience that, I would ask that you call us. We probably just need to do a little more flushing.
Okay. All right, really helpful. Thanks. And that's at 823
1000.
1000.
Yes.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right, any more questions for Mary and Wayne? Well, before I let you go, Mary and Wayne, I'd like to recognize that Norfolk Water was the top in all those competitions you had many years ago, and really do miss you bottling your own bottled water that you used to have over at Granby Street, the Norfolk Water. I think I still got a few souvenir water bottles from that, but you guys won some top-rated prizes for the best water in the region. And also, I'd like to point out that the water plants, they are actually very innovative when it comes to disaster preparedness. They're on their own grid. So if we ever have a major storm or anything like that, they will go off the power grid and run their generators, just so if we do get hit by the big one, that water will not be affected by the power shut off. So utility department is top notch in trying to keep our water safe and clean for all those citizens. And I'm not too sure how many other cities do that. So great job, guys.
Thank you.
All right, if that's all we've got for utilities, I want to thank you again for your presentation. Very informative. I've learned a lot. I'll turn it over to you, Dan, if you have any other questions.
No, I don't. Thank you so much, Mary and Wayne. We really appreciate your flexibility to be able to jump online with us today to provide the presentation. And thank you so much for taking your time to discuss these important issues with our LEPC group and our future meetings. So you are more than welcome to join if you'd like to be a part of this group. But we just want to say thank you so much. And we really appreciate you and your team, and best of luck with all of the exciting projects coming up with utilities.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Most certainly. All right. What a fantastic presentation. Very timely because of all of the winter weather and the water main break. So, Scott and Ricky and I were really kind of discussing the presentation for this LEPC, and we were going in one direction, but as soon as we went through winter weather and we saw the utilities team, how hard they were working throughout the cold weather and the temperatures and the freezing pipes and the water main breaks, we thought it would just be an excellent opportunity to bring the utilities team in to discuss the tireless work that they do to get things back in running order for our community members, because most of y'all live in our community, and we just wanted y'all to hear from Mary and her team how hard they are working to restore those pipes and what they're doing as a benefit for our community members. So thank you so much. So the next part of this presentation, we want to move over to some exciting things that we have on our plate. And for the first one, I'll turn it over to Scott. He's got a couple of things, and then we'll turn it over to Ricky.
Thank you, Daniel. So as you most of you might know, I am the coordinator of Norfolk CERT. And CERT is a Community Emergency Response Team. Our program is to train citizens how to take care of themselves, how to take care of their families, and to assist the city in the event of a disaster. The training is free and we offer it twice a year. So we are coming up to our first training of the year. I know it's late notice for you, but we put this out. So we're starting our new CERT class in February 24th, and it will run for 5 consecutive Tuesday nights. Now, the Tuesday nights are from 6:30 to 9:30. All the training is free, and it's held over here at the Emergency Operations Center, 3661 East Virginia Beach Boulevard. We have what we call a eat and learn approach. So it's more of a potluck. You come in, everybody brings a little something to eat. I have different instructors. We eat a little bit, we learn a lot, take a break, have a little snack, and then we learn some more. And we build that camaraderie between the citizens and we get to know each other. As I said, it's open to anyone that lives in the city of Norfolk or anyone who actually works in the city of Norfolk. We offer classes in disaster preparedness. We talk about the disasters, what could happen, how the city's prepared, what individual preparedness would look like for your family. I bring in instructors from the fire department and we talk about hazard materials at your house or your garage, what you store, and fire safety and fire extinguisher training, which is always a treat. Learning how to use a fire extinguisher, we do that. And then we'll talk about medical operations on the next day. We talk about basic first aid. We talk about bandaging, what the signs are, how to deal with people having different illnesses, how to treat people, how to respect people and ask them if they want to be treated. We'll cover all that. We also cover communications and incident command structures. One of the core classes that we have in emergency management, we talk about the structure of command, how that works. And for us, it would be once we're activated at the EOC, we would give the word that CERT is going to be activated. I would put out a call to my CERT managers and we would get the CERT teams to locations that need assistance and we would supply equipment. So just learning about communications and working with a radio. Some people have, I've got a portable radio. I've never used it. So we talk about etiquette, how to use it, how to switch the channels and such. And then we get into our search and rescue, which is kind of exciting. A little dangerous too, if we try to take the danger out of it, but we teach you how to search a building, see if it's safe to go inside. Have your partner going with you, how to actually do that grid search inside a building to see if anybody's injured. Learn how to call out for people. Actually learn how to use a whistle, calling for help or, saying if you hear my whistle, shout out. And the grid search works on the outside as well. So the grid search will be outside searching of a building to see if anybody's injured outside. I have the chief police chaplain, Ms. Terry Haddock. She teaches my disaster psychology class. Very informative on how to be aware of disasters and how that can affect our mental aspect as we approach a disaster, how we treat disaster, how we work with our fellow worker, our coworkers to make sure that they're okay as we go forward. So very good class with her. And then finally, we top it off on terrorism. We're not trained to fight terrorists, but we all have eyes and ears, and we can all look out for the signs and see something, say something is very important. And we teach the aspects of what to look out for. All these classes, I say, we have them on Tuesday nights, 6:30 to 9:30. But the fun part is you and your classmates on the last Tuesday, we get you together probably about 6 o'clock before the sun goes down, and we actually have a disaster plan for you, a live disaster where you and your teammates will put all those classes you learned into a full-scale exercise. You'll suit up, you'll go search and rescue, you'll do triage, you do medical, you'll help people. You'll learn in the class how to carry people, whether it's on stretchers or makeshift stretchers. So the whole time you're learning, you're going to be less scared or less apprehensive if something happens in real life, because in class you're going to learn how to react and how to do it. So in real life, you could just, raise your hand. I know how to take care of this. I know CPR. I know how to do the Heimlich. I know how to help somebody with choking or somebody's having a stroke. You can take the lead. So you're more assertive in your work life, in your community, and at home, you can help everybody else. So the benefit of it is you're going to learn something. You're going to share what you learn. Other people are going to learn. So it's a very good class. I'm happy to promote, and I'll put the schedule online for anyone that's interested for that class. So anybody on here is welcome to take the class. I know Miss Steele took the class and is a very active member of our CERT program. And thank you again, Daniel.
Oh, no problem. I absolutely loved it.
So after the class, what do? Luckily, we don't have that many disasters or major events, so CERT volunteers out in the community. We have a 2-hour program where we go teach different groups, different church groups, different civic leagues, different departments on the Heimlich, on hands-only CPR, how to do stop the bleed, how to do fire extinguisher training. So we're always out in the community. So anybody that takes the CERT class is more involved and they want to get involved and they want to share this knowledge. So just the benefits alone, spreading the word and spreading the training is great. So I encourage you, if you can't make it this one, we'll have one in the summer, but I'll put the schedule on there and you can just contact me or scott.mahone@norfolk.gov or EOC-plans@norfolk.gov. That way, Ricky and Daniel and myself will get that email for that. Last plug-in, volunteers really do help out the community in everything they do. CERT or SAIL 250 is no exception. CERT volunteers, MRC volunteers, we're all helping out with eyes and ears and walking the event and helping people. So just because we don't have disasters don't mean we're not helping out. So we're always involved in the community. So if you get a chance, if your schedule permits, starting on February 24th for 5 Tuesdays in a row, 6:30 to 9:30, come on down and take the CERT class. And that's my sale pitch.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. I can't reiterate how important that class is, not only for you to get that disaster experience to be able to respond, but Scott hit on it. The confidence that you gain from being able to participate in that live scale exercise, to be able to do CPR, stop the bleed, learning how to do AED, learning the signs of an illness. I mean, it's just the confidence you gain from that allows you to be more aware of your surroundings when you're out with your family, and you can step in before first responders get there to help out. So excellent job, Scott. You've done so well with that program, and we really appreciate all the effort that you put into teaching those classes yearly. He has a database full of thousands of people who've been through the program. So if you're interested, I implore you to sign up for that one. However, not to put you back on the spotlight, Scott, but I think you have another excellent opportunity for some City of Norfolk employees.
So that is right. Right after my evening classes, we will start a daytime class for city employees. And that's going to be also at this building at 3661 East Virginia Beach Boulevard. This is the first time we're trying a daytime class and it's going to be the same schedule, all those classes I took, but it's going to be from 9 to 12. So I'm giving people the opportunity to let their supervisors know that I'm going to be at the OC, I'm going to take CERT training, and the classes start April 7th. So I've got April 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th, that last Tuesday. And then instead of following another Tuesday, we're going to have that Friday after or Friday morning. We're going to have that full scale exercise for all the employees to learn, and we'll get comms out there. It's really exciting. I might add that we've done Teen Cert over at Votech, and what started out was from 2 classes over at Votech. We've had 4 or 5 classes now involved, from carpentry to the home X class, the fire class, the criminal justice. They all participate in the classes, and the whole school, or half the school, participates in the exercise. So it's really being able to spread the knowledge And we're happy to offer this daytime class this first time. So if you can't make the night class, I hope you can come out in the day class.
Thank you, Scott. And this is an excellent opportunity if you're a city employee to be able to jump on this. We are offering it for our emergency department coordinators. Those are our liaisons within the different departments that are our emergency preparedness middle of the hourglass for us per se, right? We're just an office of three, but when we have department emergency coordinators are out there amplifying our message, making sure our departments are prepared and are trained, we want to make sure that our coordinators are also trained. So we are offering it to our city employees who are online here who aren't necessarily a part of the emergency coordinator team, but if you'd like to be a part of that, cert, let us know. Finally, I'd like to turn it over to Ricky for just a few minutes. We have been doing a lot of work in the realm of SAIL 250, and well, that's all we're in that mindset right now. So I just want to turn it over to Ricky for just a few moments to talk about what we're doing in emergency management to prepare for SAIL 250, and then how you can get plugged in if you'd like to be a part of that. So Ricky?
Yeah, SAIL 250 is going to be a rather large event here for the city of Norfolk. If you're not familiar with what it is, it's basically Harbor Fest, but a lot bigger. We're going to have lots of different ships from various countries coming in, lots of tall ships, and expected crowd of around 3 million people across the Hampton Roads area for all the different events. It's going to be Juneteenth weekend here in downtown Norfolk. So this will be when Harbor Fest is for this year. So June 19th through, let me pull my calendar up, 19th through the 22nd will be the main event days. And yes, one of those is a Monday. The event will continue into Monday. The ships will all arrive on Friday the 19th, and then most of them will depart on either the 22nd or the 23rd. Norfolk is one of 5 different cities across the nation participating in SAIL 250 this year. The other ones are New Orleans, Baltimore, New York City, and Boston. So pretty cool that Norfolk is one of the cities that was picked for this big event. So here in emergency management, our job is coordination. So that's kind of what we're doing with all the different entities of the city right now. We have various subcommittees that have been set up. We had 2 meetings yesterday for emergency management and incident ops, and then fire, EMS, and medical. Today we had a meeting with our safety and security committee involving our police departments and other agencies. And then we have a maritime committee that is taking place, a meeting tomorrow for that. And then looking at my calendar here, next week, make sure I don't forget any of these, logistics, infrastructure, site operations. There's a volunteer and staff subcommittee. And finally, a comms and communications and PIO subcommittee. So all these subcommittees are comprised of either city departments or external partners. For example, we have VDH, we've got Downtown Norfolk Council, several other groups that are involved in these subcommittees, just to bring everyone together to have a conversation and make sure that we're all on the same page for what we may need or what we don't have, and we have to identify how we can get that ahead of the big event in June. So it's a lot of different meetings, a lot of different folks that are going to be playing a role in this very large event. Some of you who may have been here a long time may be familiar with OpSale 2012. This is very similar to OpSale 2012, but the way it's shaping up looks to be a little bit bigger. So we're really excited about it, though. It should be a really cool event and a great opportunity to show off the city to not just the residents with all the fun that we can have with Harbor Fest, but really the world with so many ships coming from different nations and all the sailors who will be coming here too, and then get to check out things around the downtown Norfolk and Norfolk Hampton Roads area in general. So if you're interested in being on any of those subcommittees, reach out to us once again, eoc-plans@norfolk.gov. If you'd like some more information about SAIL 250, I'm going to find the link here and I'll drop it in the comments or the chat, just about kind of the schedule and everything that's going on with the event in Norfolk when it comes here June 19th through the 23rd.
Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate that. We're really excited about this event. A lot of preparing goes into the event, not only with SAIL 250 and Fest events who are kind of managing the planning process for the vendors and things like that, but as city departments, we're planning for all the other things outside of that. So if you are on this call and have any type of effort within the planning process of SAIL 250 and want to be plugged into one of our subcommittees, just reach out to us and we will most certainly plug you into whatever subcommittee that you would like. so you can be a part of the conversation and understand what the city is doing and what your organization is doing as well. So please let us know. So for the final 5 minutes of the meetings, what we usually like to do is basically just have a round table of an opportunity for you to discuss how your organization is going, what type of events that you have coming up that you would like participation with, or even some assistance with. So if you do, it's a large group here, so we're not going to go around like we did in the very beginning, but I do ask that if you do have something that you would like to report out, this is an excellent opportunity for networking. We want to hear what's going on with your organization. Let us know if there's anything that you have coming up. Put your hand up, raise your hand. It's at the top of the bar. And just let us know if you need some assistance with that or would like for people to know so they can come on out. There's a lot of great work that's going on, not only within city departments, but our non-governmental agencies as well. So this would just be an opportunity for you to network and connect with your fellow LEPC members and just provide us some information of how things are going with your organization or some special events. So I'll pause for just a moment to see if we have any hands raised. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Name is Arian Alfonso. I'm an emergency manager with Sector Virginia, the U.S. Coast Guard. I recently took over the area committee, which is area contingency plan, which kind of takes care of all the oil response and hazardous material releases in our AOR, a vast AOR, which I'm still learning. But our next meeting will be on 04 March. Our new location is going to be at the Newport News Police Department. I think that's confirmed. But if you'd like to be part of the meeting, just send me your information. I'll be happy to add you to the invite list. And we have presentations in the meeting. We'll be talking about dredging and emergency dredging, a bunch of other things, updates to our plan. And, you know, that's an opportunity for the sector commander will be there to just kind of send her message out and you can hear. And I'm sure Cell 250 will come up as well at the AC meeting, but that's all I have.
Now, are those primarily in person or are they virtual?
It'll be both. It's primarily in person, but we do usually have
virtual
option where you can join.
If you'd like to put your email in the chat so everybody can have it in case they want to join.
Absolutely.
He'll put his information in there. And I'll let you go ahead.
Afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Miles Bardis. I know I introduced myself already. I'm non-scene coordinator for EPA, and I'm actually the chair of the Inland Area Committee, so the non-coastal zone. And I'm sure many of you knew or know Chris Wagner and know that she retired. So for at least the short term, I'm going to be attempting to fill her very large shoes and capabilities as part of the LEPCs in Southeast PA, including this one. So I'll also put my name and number in it. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you need any assistance from the EPA side. Like I said, I'll do my best to fill the shoes of Chris. She's quite a legend in my mind and probably in yours as well. So thank you for having me and look forward to working with you.
Appreciate it. He's going to put his information in the chat as well. So is there anyone else online who has any information that they would like to report out or provide some contact information just so people will know? All right, I know virtual meetings can be very difficult. That's why we tried to do an in-person for this one, just to have that networking and connection piece of it. So we are going to get back in order for our next quarterly meeting. We're going to be in person here at the Police Operations Center, which is 3661 East Virginia Beach Boulevard, which is inside the 911 Center training room. So we look forward to our next meeting when we can actually get people in the seats and kind of converse and shake hands and really do that networking, because I know it's kind of hard to shake hands and connect while we're virtual. But we just want to say thank you so much for taking the time that you did today to join LEPC. And thank you to Mary and her team for providing that excellent PowerPoint presentation of how utilities responds to water main breaks. And as always, our team is on standby and ready for any assistance that you may need. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us at EOC-plans@norfolk.gov. And with that, we'll go ahead and conclude the meeting since I don't see any hands. But thank you so much for joining today. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.